Hi Flosstubers, it's Katie the Stash Queen coming to you on Saturday, August the 15th. August 15th, oh my god. I hope you all are having a great day. I hope you all are having or had a great stitchy week. This is my first video for the weekend. Today I have my August ABCs update, plus I have some haul to show you guys, and I have a tag that I'm going to do today. Sorry, I'm a little bit frazzled and tired. I've been dealing with insomnia for the past couple of days. Got some sleep last night, but I'm still playing catch up. Then we brought the kids out today to go get their back to school haircuts. Teresa was fine, no big deal, just a little trim on the ends. David, for all of the compliments and wonderful things you've said about how adorable and sweet and how much he looks like a little cherub, there was demon redhead boy. Took me and my husband holding him down, avoiding trying to get kicked or punched or bitten while he melted down. It was not pleasant. He's got a decent enough haircut, and frankly, he looks cute when his hair is really long. It had just gotten really, really long. So I think we're going to go a few more months before we get it cut again. But that part's done. All I really have left to do is to get some new shoes for Teresa, and then we're ready for back to school. We have one more week. I'm kind of looking forward to it at this point. So I'm a little tired, and I'm a little bit worn out because it's already been a crazy day. But that's okay. Like I said, I've got haul, tag, and August ABCs. I'll go ahead and start with haul. The mail for today hasn't come yet. It's 1:57. Why should it have come by now? Sorry, our mail people are kind of crazy. So I may have haul again tomorrow when I come back to visit you guys for my weekly update. I know I have several things out and about in the mail that are coming, so, but you know me, it is a rare thing to not have haul of some sort on a Stash Queen video. But we'll go ahead and start with haul. First thing, I'm sure most of you have heard by now, there's an online shop called Rainbow Stitchery that is going out of business. The woman has decided to shut her doors. And a couple of weeks ago, she had, she's been having various sales, some weeks on patterns, some weeks on fabric, some weeks on floss, just various things that she's been doing sale-wise to kind of get rid of her inventory. And a couple of weeks ago, she did a sale on floss. Now, I don't have a full collection of DMC yet, but I didn't buy any DMC because I can get DMC really anytime for relatively inexpensively. Plus, this sale went on when I was in Colorado. Chicago. I told you I'm tired. And when we were in Colorado. But what I had done before I had left for Colorado, and I'm so glad I did, is I had taken the two chatelaines that I am looking at kitting up for 2016, which is the Tuscany Town mandala and the Baltic Sea mandala. And I put two little on my notepad. I have an iPhone and an Apple laptop, so I had created a list, one of flosses that I needed and one of beads that I needed for these two pieces, so that when I'm out and about, if I go to an LNS, if I see something online, whenever Coffee Stitcher and I do our epic Let's Take Over DFW thing, I wanted to have those readily available. And I didn't do it by here's what I need for Baltic Sea and here's what I need for Tuscany Town. I did it here's all the Gloriana I need, here's all the Dinky Dyes that I need, here's all the DMC that I need. DMC, I just wrote a whole huge long list, and I've got to go through my stash, and then I'll figure out what's in my stash versus what I still need and order that a little bit closer to the time I'm ready to do this. But I had all of this down, so I opened up that app and I went through the sale because it was all 60% off. And anyone who's kitted a chatelaine knows, one, they have so many specialty flosses, and it's totally worth it. I honestly, I understand why some people will do a chatelaine using the DMC substitutions and the Mill Hill substitutions and whatnot. I understand for the financial reasons why, but for the effect why, I can never see myself doing a chatelaine with just the DMC equivalent threads. I can't. It's a chatelaine. I can't. So I opened up my app on my phone, had the the website up and went through and was able to knock off some of the specialty flosses that I had on my list. So yay. So I've got them in a little pile here. Not a ton of them, just a few, but I thought I would show them off. This is Rainbow Gallery Petite Treasure Braid in PB63. Let me see if I have something white that I can use as a backdrop before I start doing all this. Might have helped if I had been prepared, Katie. This will work. But it's a really pretty blue, like a deep navy royal blue. I've only ever used silver and gold Petite Treasure Braid. These two chatelaines call for colors other than the silver and gold, and I'm really excited about that. So that's pretty blue. So I got that one. And then I got some water lilies. And again, I don't remember, because it's one list of here are all the water lilies that I need. I can't tell you which pattern goes with which water lily, but that's okay. And there are a couple of multiples in here, but anyway. This one is called Mediterranean. Beautiful blues and greens, very sea-like. I love the water lilies. They are so soft. So expensive, so soft. 60% off is worth it. And then I had, this one is called Oasis. So I'm assuming these are probably part of Baltic Sea, considering the summer, but I could be wrong. Another blues and greens, but duller ones. This one is Caramel. Pretty browns and goldy colors. This one is Sable, which is really pretty. See, I definitely need, I don't know if you can tell so much, but it's got like a dark, 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 dark navy, almost black, and the brown in there. It's really very, very pretty. And then here's another Mediterranean. Sorry, my hand was a little envelope again. And then this one is Azure Skies, another pretty blues. I think most of these are probably for Baltic Sea. All the blue. Another Oasis. Another Oasis. And then a Rose Quartz, which is pretty pink and green. That's coming across okay-ish. There you go. Let's see if a little bit better on here. Very pretty. So those are the water lilies that I got. And then I got 4 dinky dyes as well. So 2 of them, oh no, I guess they're not the same color. Oh yes, they are. 2 of them are Cloudy Sky. Pretty, more blues. Again, very soft. This one is called Ocean Grove, which is really pretty. Got purples and blue. Oh, I hope I didn't have the blue on there. Purples and almost a magenta reddy purple color. Some blues, some greeny shades. It's really very, very pretty. And then the last dinky dye that I got, this one is Lemon Sherbet. Kind of another yellowy, browny color. So yeah, so those were the flosses that I got from Rainbow Stitchery. I am keeping an eye out there if they go on another floss sale. I went through everything, and this was all that they had of the things I needed on my list at the time. But if they do another sale, I'll take another look. And then I had mentioned, I guess it was last week, when I did my Soda Stitch stash, that I had gotten a couple other patterns and I was waiting for them to be delivered, and they got delivered. Okay. So the first one is the freebie, and this one is called Love Blossoms. And look, it even has a little sticker on it that says for free. Take that off. But this is Love Blossoms. That's just so cute. Very, very adorable. And then I got Coffee Break, because Coffee Stitcher is not the only person who loves coffee. I think this would be an awesome, sorry for the glare. Let me see if I can put this down for a minute. I'll put the glare some. This would be really cool to put over my coffee machine section in my kitchen. But I liked that a lot. And then I got butterfly elf because I have elf's garden, but they didn't have wings. And I love these little 4 girls. So there they are with all their wings. Which I'll probably wait till I'm done with elf's garden to do this one. Which I don't know if you guys have seen elf's garden yet. Beyond just a update. I don't remember. And then this one is vegetable garden. And I got this one for a couple of reasons. One, my mother is trying to get me into gardening, and she kind of started me this year with tomato plants in our backyard. And the kids had a lot of fun with it. And I keep thinking, as you know, when I go to the grocery store or when I make dinner and all that sort of thing, oh, I could grow this. Oh, I could grow this. Hey, I could grow this. So I'm kind of thinking about doing this possibly as a gift for my parents at some point, maybe. Mom, if you're watching this, it's not going to be anytime soon, so don't hold your breath. And then maybe also for our house. We'll see. But I thought it was cute. So those were the patterns that I got in. Yay! And I also mentioned last week, I believe, at some point, that I needed another one of the tiny bead storage trays because I was out of space. And I hemmed and hawed on if I was going to get it or not. But when I was working on my chatelaine earlier this week, which you'll get that update tomorrow, I had all of the beads, because I'd already ordered all the beads, and I had them all in a little separate plastic bag that was in with the rest of my supplies. Didn't like that. That's how I used to keep all of my Mill Hills beforehand, and I realized, like, I pulled them all out because again, looking for the chatelaines for next year. One of the delicas that I had already ordered for Medieval Town is also used in one of the other 2 next year, and I should have plenty of beads left over from Medieval Town to use on the other one. So I'm like, you know what, that just proves I need to be able to have them readily accessible right here in front of me so that when I am slowly accumulating all this stuff, I know what I have and I know what I don't. So I got one. See? Not nearly as filled. It's got 1 Mill Hill at the top. The other box is full of Mill Hills and it went overboard. But then all the rest of these are my delicas and my Swarovski crystals that I need for a Medieval Town mandala so far. Or these are all of them for Medieval Town mandala. There's no more for Medieval Town mandala. It's not nearly as bead intense as the other 2 are. But as I order the beads, I'll start putting them in here. So this one's going to be bin number 2, where any Mill Hills that now keep overflowing will go in here. But this is, for now, primarily my Delica and Swarovskis. But what I did just to... I love this set. I love the system. But I just picked... Here, I'll pick this one. Like, I just used my label maker, and I put little labels on it. 4mm bicone. And this is the Olivine AB. And see, they're in there. Yay! Because I only need like 4 or 8, but they came in the kit of like a lot more than that. So I'll have some more in case I do something else and I need them. And then the cool thing was the last time this one's my favorite box. When I ordered from Fire Mountain Gems for all of these things before, they sent me this little bag full of miscellaneous crystals. So I've got miscellaneous crystals, and it's got all sorts of fun little things in there in case something needs bling. And things always need bling. So I got another one of those. So I have 2, but it should take me a while. Maybe not. Like, I need, I think it was 17 more Delica colors for the 2 chatelaines. And that doesn't count. I think it's like somewhere between 5 and 10 different Swarovski for the 2 of them. That'll get a lot more beads in it then. It just is the way it is. But, you know, I'm slowly getting up. I've got one of the flosses coming. I got the order from England coming. There are a couple of the beads that are called for that are very difficult to find now. Like, I couldn't find one of them. forget which one it is, which pattern it is, but one of the beads is no longer made because the original metal in it that when it was made is not the healthiest of metals. And so they switched it to another metal, but that I couldn't find anywhere on Fire Mountain Gems. And when I emailed them, they said they didn't have it. They didn't carry that line. But hey, you've ordered this one that looks, no, it doesn't look anything similar to it. Thanks anyway. But I found it, some on eBay, some on Amazon. So I've got the ones that I couldn't find on Fire Mountain Gems are on their way. The other one was Peacock, which I think goes on Baltic Sea. So Coffee Stitch, if you're watching this, listen up. I couldn't find it anywhere. The color just didn't seem to exist anymore. But I found on eBay someone who was selling a peacock blue and a peacock green from the Delica line. I think it was Delica's, maybe it's one of the, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I ordered both so I could see, and Coffee Stitcher, we can split it and figure out what we need to do if we need to. If you don't, just order it from European Cross Stitch. Which, where's the fun in that? It's more fun. It may be cheaper. From what I heard, sometimes it is cheaper, but I got so many more pretties. Sorry, told you guys this a little bit. Yeah, today. Okay, so there's my haul. We'll see what, if anything, comes in the mail today. I know I've got a Moe's sale order coming for the month. I know I've got Gina's Unique Needle Minders coming. I know I've gotten the fabrics of the month. I know, or at least July. I think I got the next round of fabrics in the month coming. I know I've got Jottery still to come. I know I've got lots of things coming. Stash Queen. So, I thought next I would show you guys August ABCs. If you recall, I finished my first August ABCs piece, which was the All Things Noah, and I finished it early. So this time around, I was doing the Doctor Who clock from Cloud's Factory, and I gave myself, it was like 9 days instead of 7, because I had 2 extra days in the week from when I finished All Things Noah that I went ahead and gave to this piece. And speaking of Doctor Who, I've got something to mention about that in a minute. But I'm really, really happy. Just like everything else with this 1 hour a day thing has been helping out, it's a successful thing for me. Here is where I am after 9 hours. Now, if you recall, I had the TARDIS in the middle, and I had some of the Gallifreyan text behind it, the circle text for non-Whovians. I finished the Gallifreyan text, I added the Daleks, the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, and I started the Doctors. I finished Doctor number 1, and I started the second Doctor. So really, all I have left to do is Doctors 2 through 12, finish Doctor number 2, and then do the rest of them through 12, and then it's done. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this piece. And my son was very excited about it. Again, this is being done on a jewel from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm doing it all in silks from Moe's sale, except for the white, which is B5200, and the skin tone, I'm using Moe's Floss, cotton floss for that, because there's not really a shiny, silky flesh color, and even if there was, it would look a little bit weird. But yeah, there we go. So speaking of Doctor Who, while I'm thinking about it, in September, the new season of Doctor Who starts. Yay! I'm a Whovian. When this mom cave gets done, I've got lots of little Doctor Who figures and other stuff, books and a couple other things that'll show up. Then this mom cave isn't only going to be cross stitch. It's going to be my little geeky side. It's going to be my escape, because I have not had a room of my own since I was 6 years old, I think. My brother was born when I was 7. I shared a room with my sister growing up, then went to college, had a roommate, got married 3 weeks after college. Haven't had my own room in a very, very, very long time. So it's going to have mostly cross stitch, but it's going to have all my other geeky, fun, interest stuff as well. But new season starting up. I want to say this tells you A, I'm either a bad Whovian, or B, I'm tired. I think it's a little bit of both. I'm looking up real quick while we do this when the stitch along starts. We did in Stitch Mania back in June a Orange is the New Black stitch along to celebrate the new season of Orange is the New Black. So I talked to my fellow admins and said, hey, can I do one for just one day for Doctor Who? And we could, everyone who wanted to join in could sit around and stitch on a Doctor Who themed related piece. So the other admins were like, sure, go for it. So Saturday, September the 19th, Stitch Mania is hosting a Doctor Who Whovians Unite stitch along. If you're part of Stitch Mania, please, and you're a Whovian, please feel free to join in. If you're not a Whovian, please feel free to join in and cheer us all along. If you're not a part of Stitch Mania, we would love to have you. If you're not into Facebook, feel free to stitch on anything Doctor Who September 19th anyway, because it's Doctor Who, and it's season 9, and we just need... I'm excited. So I know I mentioned last week that I wasn't going to try to, or I was going to try to limit my new starts. And logically, you would think that I should pick up this Doctor Who clock and just work on that day. That's what I should do. It's not what I'm gonna do. I decided, and I don't have a picture here because I have the pattern saved electronically currently. I'm starting a new start on that day, on September 19th. It is going to be, for those of you who are Whovians, it's Van Gogh's Exploding TARDIS picture. It's a full coverage piece, so it's like a Haid or a Tilton Crafts or any of those other full coverage sites. But it's from Bella Stitchery Designs, or she's the one that charted it, and it is the picture of the TARDIS exploding with all of the colors around it, like Starry Night. I love that image. Well, not of the TARDIS exploding, but I love the whole painting aspect of it. It's a great episode where it shows up, and great sets of episodes where it shows up. And I've seen it where you could buy posters and prints and all that. I'd rather stitch it and then hang it up in here when it's done. So I will be having a new start on September 19th for Whovians Unite in Stitch Mania. If you join us, it can be a new start. If you want to have a new start, it can be a whip. If you have a whip, whatever you want, we're certainly, and if you're not part of Stitch Mania and you still want to stitch along, September 19th, Whovians Unite. Anyway, back to August ABCs. So that was my piece for this past week. This next week, and that was a piece for my son. So this week, I'm focusing on a piece for my daughter. And it is Letters from Nora, the letter T. Isn't that pretty? That's the finished piece. And it's all done in classic colorworks, Kreinik, Mill Hill, beads, all that. And let's find... I was not a good girl and didn't write down which fabric I'm doing this on. I am doing this on 28 Jovelin in Willow Wisp from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And here is where I am starting it. So I've got a good portion of the top of the T done. We'll see how there's a lot more than 7 hours left in this piece. See, let me show you these side by side. It might help if I learned how to do video editing and stuff, and then I could show you this much better, but I do this on my phone. I upload it from my phone. That's about all I can do at this point. So here's where I am, and here's where it is left. I'm going to work some on the fairy. There's more than 7 hours left in this, but 7 hours will make a fantastic dent in this piece. And my daughter's very excited that I'm going to be working on this week. So next Saturday will be when this piece shows up again, because it won't show up tomorrow. And the funny thing is, today I'm kind of working on 2 pieces for August ABCs, because the piece that I'm working on for my regular rotation today will be the August ABCs piece after this one. You will see that one tomorrow. So yeah, wish me luck. I hope everyone else who's participating in August ABCs so far is having a good time with it, good success with it. I really like, and I say this every time, and I'm sorry I get repetitive, but I really do like this 1 hour a day and seeing the progress from the start of the week to the end of the week, because it's obvious progress, start of the week, end of the week. And because I'm doing it only for 1 hour a day and I'm working on my regular rotation, other than that, I'm not falling into the habit, falling into the habit of getting bored with a piece and then lamenting. I am starting to feel the itch to do a new start, and that's kind of why I'm going to do the new start in September. I got to get the fabric and floss and all that for it. I might have the fabric because I do all of my full coverage pieces just on plain white fabric. I just need to see. I have some in my stash that I'll see what size I need and if I have the right size or if I need to order it, and we'll go from there. But I was feeling the itch for a new start, and I figure I can wait till that to do a new start instead of waiting all the way to October with Raven Queen. So we'll show you that when it comes up. So yeah, I feel a little off. I'm sorry that I feel a little off today. I'm worried that I may be portraying it that I'm a little bit more off today than I normally am. The condition that I have kicks my butt when insomnia phase kicks in, and there's nothing I can do about it. Having to hold down my son to get the traumatic haircut didn't really help much today either. But that's okay. So I'm going to end this with the fun little tag from Carolina. Hi, Carolina. I pulled up her Flosstube video so I could pull up the tag, and I will link the video with her tag in it down below, so if anyone else who hasn't done it yet and is interested in doing it can go and find it and do it. So, okay, I didn't really think of it. Most of the time when I do a tag, I write out the questions, and I, at least in the process of writing out the questions, I have a chance to think of my answer. Didn't do that this time, so these answers are completely off the cuff. You have been warned. Okay, 1. How do you arrange the floss you're using on a project? Depends on the project. If it comes, let's see if I can pull one out here. This will work for that. Okay. There's 3 different ways that I do it. If it's a kit, like I just pulled this one that was on the top, is European Bistro from the Dimensions Gold Collection, that comes with a floss, I either leave, if it's already been divided and it's on those little sticky ones that no one seems to like from DMC, I usually just leave it there. Silly me, I just rip the floss back, or the sticky part away, pull the floss out, stick it back in, and stick it back down, and it sticks okay enough when I wrap it around it. But if it came like in the big bundle of floss that a lot of kits do, I've got project cards, and I'll pull them out and divide them and write the numbers down and write the piece down of whatever it may use. And plus, you know, the nice thing is that if I have a long one like this and I start getting some of the blended ones, I can, when I do a blended one, if I have floss left over, I can write a new line and I can put it back in there before I start a new blended one the next time around. But I'll do it like this if it comes in a kit, or use the pre-sorted if it comes in a kit. If it comes, or if it's a piece that requires specialty floss, which is like letters from Nora, the letter one that I'm doing this time, I usually just do this. I put the floss in the bag for that piece. So this one is all the classic color works for, excuse me, for this piece. And I'll just pull it from the skein, and then if I have any left over, I'll put it in little holes on the top of the skein, or on top of the card, and go from there for something like this. I have one in here, like this one I'm using floss from Mo's Sale On. I have one that was already Bobinoo that I threw in, and I've got the additional skeins down there. My chatelaine, which you guys have seen before, is just a bag full of specialty flosses. DMC, and I don't have it here, it's all downstairs. I have just a sample box. You all know the floss boxes, the big ones, not the little ones, but the big ones that hold. Oh, hold on, hold on. Don't knock my drink over. Here. Sorry, boxes like this. Right now, I have 5 or 6 of these filled with DMC. And oddly enough, I don't have a full set. I have multiple skeins of the same color, but not a full set. I have these in numerical order, stacked next to my stitchy spot, where I just pull for every DMC. I pull from there whatever piece I need. I prefer that than kitting up DMC pieces all the way entirely. That's why I ended up with multiple skeins of the same. Like, I have one color, excluding 310, because I have like 50 skeins of 310 that I got cheap at one point. I have like 8 skeins of this one, of a bluish purple color. I don't remember the number. It's not up here. But that are for my various Joan Elliots. And in each one I use maybe, if I use a quarter of the skein, that's overestimating. But I bought new skeins, and so I have like 8 of the same one, and that's a waste. So I just pull all from my same thing from DMC. I am contemplating, after I get this room organized, and have places to store floss much more easily and much more readily available when I am ready to do it, of moving all of my DMC up here, and then on a weekly basis, as part of my preparation for my whips for the week, go through the DMCs that I'm going to need for that week and put it just in a separate box, and just have that separate box for the DMC I need that week, and work all of the DMC from there. So if 3 pieces call for, you know, 642, I'll have one skein of 642 and use it for all 3 pieces. That's what I'm thinking, because that's when I went out of town to Colorado, that's what I did for the whips that require DMC that I brought with me. I just packed one of these up, went through, pulled the floss that I needed, and packed this one thing up and brought it with me. And it was a lot easier to do. I just don't trust right now. This room is such a mess in here. I don't have a place where I can put all that down and trust that I'll be able to access it easily each time. So once this room gets done, I'll probably all DMC in one box for the whips of the week, and just make that part of my whips of the week process. But for now, it's 6 boxes of DMC that I pull everything from. Have you attempted to dye fabric? If so, what method did you use? If not, is there any particular method you want to try? Haven't tried it, not interested in trying it. I love the hand-dyed fabrics and hand-dyed flosses. Totally, completely. You guys have seen it. I love it. I'm not interested in doing it myself. There are so many out there that do it so well, and I have so many other things that I want to do with my time, and so much other stuff that it's just, if I ever, you know, if it came down to no more hand-dyed fabric or floss for me to purchase, or I learn to dye my own, I'll learn to dye my own. But as long as there are companies out there that make beautiful products, I'm much more interested in just going from them. If you use a needle threader, is there any specific type you prefer? I don't use a needle threader. I tried way back when. Don't like them, don't use them. If you use any type of frame to stitch, do you stitch with the fabric over the frame or in the well? I stitch with a hoop, and I stitch over the frame, because honestly, I never knew before I found Flosstube, quite honestly, that people stitched in the well. I understand why to a point, but to me, after doing this for so long, it looks like you're doing it wrong. You're not. I'm not saying anyone's doing it wrong. I couldn't do it without thinking I'm doing something wrong. The back is always in the well. The front is always over the top. So over the frame. Do you start your frame, or you start your threads in the front or back of your projects? What method do you use? I start them in the back, and I railroad and catch the tail when I'm stitching over it. Which, let's see if I can show. My backs aren't always beautiful. I'm one of those that I am not concerned about how the backs of my pieces look. I never have been. As long as I can do what I need to do with it at the end and the front looks good, that's all that matters to me. But here you can kind of see, here's the back of the tee. And yes, I usually have little tails, and I snip those usually at the end after I get everything done. But I'll just pull, I'll have a little tail when I first start it. I'll stitch over the tail, and then I'll finish them in the back as well and flip it underneath, and that's how it's always worked for me. I know people who do the loop method. I know people who do the loop method from the front. I know in theory the loop method is supposed to save you floss, but I don't see how it does that, because if you are doing, with the exception maybe the tiny little bit of a tail, because if you're having to cut the floss twice as long, it's still the same amount as if you had two pieces of floss that were half the size. So I don't see how that saves floss. I know some people, it's just, this method works for me. It's been working for me for over 20 years. I'll stick with it. If you are a gridder, what is your preferred method of gridding? I don't grid. I understand why people do grid. Gridding bugs me. I work, because of all of the hand dyes that I use, I would never think of gridding with marker or anything like that, no matter how water soluble or how safe it is, because I don't wash my pieces unless I absolutely have to, and I would worry to death that even if I did end up washing a piece, if I use like white fabric or something, that it wouldn't come off, and I'd hate that. The way of doing it with thread, again, I would worry that my threads would get caught and it would screw up when I'm trying to pull. I can count just fine without needing the grid. What is your favorite way to finish projects? The majority of my finished projects fall into one of two categories. My fully finished projects, not what's in the box of projects, box of finishes up there, but the ones that are fully finished. They either fall into a they were framed category, or they fall into a this is a specific type of piece and you finish it in the way that it's supposed to be finished. Meaning, this is a stocking, you finish it as a stocking. This is a Christmas ornament, you finish it as a plastic canvas Christmas ornament, you finish it as a Christmas ornament. This is you know, a perforated paper piece that you put together, you finish it that way. So I usually do the frames. I have watched some of the tutorials out there for some of the other finishes, and I have a couple of ideas for some of the finishes that I have up there that need to be fully finished projects or FFOs. Again, when this room is where it needs to be, I may try, one of the things I'm planning on getting in here is a table that I can pull out and use, one for wrapping when it's Christmas and birthday wrapping time, and two for doing more things like working out FFOs or a sewing table or something like that. I think I've mentioned before that sewing kind of scares me, so anything that's no sew, I'm all interested in trying, but I gotta wait till I have some space to do that. But for now, it's either whatever they're supposed to be made into, stockings, Christmas skirts, whatever, or it's framed. What was your first cross-stitching milestone? The first piece I ever finished was a little hummingbird in the pink flower dimensions, or I've seen them in dimensions, I've seen them in Jamlin, I've seen them in Busilla, I've seen the basic hummingbirds drinking out of the pink flowers. My grandmother had started that piece when my aunt tried to teach her, the aunt who taught me how to cross stitch, tried to teach her my grandmother how to cross stitch too. My grandmother sticks with knitting and crocheting and quilting. Cross stitch was just too small for her. Small in her eyes, rather. She loves it and she's always impressed with what I do. She just couldn't see it to do it. So she gave me the kit and I finished that up. So I guess you could call that my first cross stitching milestone. The one that is that I most am proud of are the Christmas stockings. The 4 Christmas stockings that I have for my family that you will see at Christmas, and I will do whenever I pull out the Christmas decorations, I'll do a video on them. Those are the things I'm most proud of. Number 9, what is a stitch goal you have / something you want to conquer? Specialty stitches. I'll say that. I've been doing cross stitch for a while. I get cross stitch. I get back stitching. I get French knots. Got all that. The chatelaines have a lot of specialty stitches in it. I've already done some in the part that you'll see tomorrow when I do my weekly update. And I have quite a few other pieces that have a lot more specialty stitches in it. I want to do Save the Stitches. I want to do the Box of Delights. I want to do her new one, the Pandora's Box, that's from Blackwork Designs, that's coming out, and she's doing previews for it now in her group, and it's got some intimidating stitches, pulled thread stitches and stuff that she's incorporating into her piece for October, which she's calling Pandora's Box. And I'm interested in learning how to do all that. So yeah, I'll say that for now, especially stitches, black work, more along those lines. What is your silliest duh stitch moment? That's a hard one. Anytime I have miscounted, anytime that I have read the chart wrong and picked up one color when I should have picked up another. I don't know if I really have any silly dumb moments, because usually at the heat of the time that you find them out, you're like, oh my god! I can make them silly by going, oh my god! But they're not really silly usually at the time. See, I don't really have an answer to that question. Sorry. If you use paper charts, do you print them at home or use a service? I print them at home, usually. Used to print them at work when I had a job and a color printer at work. If I need it to be in color, I will go to Kinko's or something like that to print them out. But I don't usually print out my electronic charts. I will print out the Van Gogh Doctor Who because it's like a Haid, and I need I looked at it to say, hey, maybe I could do this electronically, because a lot of people do their Haids electronically or their full coverage pieces electronically. No, I like having it so I can color it in as I go along. I feel more comfortable that way. So I usually just print them out at home. How do you mark your paper charts if you use them? I use a pencil. I use a pencil and I use an eraser, because, and some people I'm sure who are watching this are going, oh, pencil, oh my god. But when I mark a chart, I use a pencil because I have done it before where I have marked off something as being completed when it wasn't. And with a pencil, I can go in with an eraser and erase it and then be like, oh no, I actually know I need to go do this. With a highlighter or a marker or anything else like that, you can't do that. And sometimes, I mean, and that would be okay if I was going back and immediately just making that fix right then and there. Sometimes I have not realized I made that mistake until it comes back up in my rotation 50 some odd days later. And it's much easier to erase that part that I thought I did and I didn't. And then get back to it however it fits that day that I'm working on in the rotation. Sorry, my hair's being, it's weird little short strands. Don't have bangs, don't know why. Random. So I use pencil, and then I can go back and erase. I've not had any issue. If you erase it properly and you erase it gently, I've not had any issues with things disappearing or smearing or anything else like that. And I will erase it if I need to, like for a section of backstitch, but I can usually read the backstitching through most of my charts through the pencil. But if I can't, I'll erase just that one little section to fix it. So my paper charts, by the time I'm done using them, I don't make working copies. I know, no working copies. After I finish a piece, no, I don't resell them. If I'm selling a piece or if I'm giving away a piece, it's because I'm not going to do it, and I haven't done it. But I don't make working copies. So yes, I mark on my Miras, I mark on my Joan Elliott's, I mark on these things, but they're mine, and I'm not going to do them again, and I'm not going to, as much as I hoard a lot of stuff, unless I know I'm going to need it for something specific. I don't hoard patterns once I'm done with them. I don't have multiple copies of the same pattern. I don't see the need for it, so I mark on them. Is there a cross-stitch book you suggest? I've suggested one already, and there have been several people who've been doing reviews on it, which is the Bewitching Cross Stitch by Joan Elliott. So I'll pick another one to recommend. Let me grab it in here. Also by Joan Elliott. This one is Fairy Enchantment. Oh, glare. Sorry, the questions are up, so there's glare. But this is Fairy Enchantment, which I'm doing this one on the front, the butterfly fairy. But it's got several pretty designs in it. If you like Joan Elliott, if you like fairies, she's awesome. So yeah, here is, this one is the butterfly fairy, which I am doing. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet in my rotation, but I am working on it. It does a really good job of teaching you how to do the different stitches in there. Joan's books are just really great in general. Let's see. This one is Once Upon a Time, which I think is lovely. Let's see here. This one is The Fairy Queen. Nearly everything in this book is also on my to-do list. Are we really shocked here? The Fairy and the Dragon. Dragon Stitches. Liza, this makes me think of you. It's really pretty dragon with a fairy on top of it. This is A Fairy's Garden. This one doesn't have as many examples of the actual stitched pieces. These are the artist renderings of the drawings. No, it's not the pattern, it's the artist rendering. Then there is, there's Childhood Magic. Imagine, Make a Wish, Believe and Dream. Those cute little ones. I will say I don't mark on books. I'll make a working copy from a book. From what I said earlier. Come on, computer. Don't go to sleep on me. Let's see. Imagine, Make a Wish. Yeah, that's it. This one doesn't have as many instructions on how to finish them as the Bewitching Cross Stitch does, but there's some beautiful, beautiful patterns in here. Great instructions on how to do the stuff, just not as many for the finishing as Bewitching Cross Stitch. So Bewitching Cross Stitch would be my first one. This would be another one. Fairy Enchantment by Joan Elliott. And I have lots more books, and you'll see more books later, but that's the one that comes to mind now, because it's what I'm doing something out of at the moment. Sorry, need to move my binder O patterns. These are my whips, people. Not the ones that are currently whips for the week either. Oh, put that in there. Okay. Is there anything you find you are very nitpicky about when you cross stitch? I don't love. If a pattern calls for specialty floss, I don't like making substitutions for DMC. If it calls for specialty floss, there's usually a reason why. Not just because specialty floss, and it's not because it's more expensive, it's because of the effect that can come from the specialty floss. So I'm very picky. If a piece calls for specialty floss, then I use a specialty floss. That may mean that, yeah, it's more expensive to kit some of these up. Like all of the Glendon Place dessert mandalas, sure, you can do it with DMC. They look better with the dinky dyes, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to kit it up with all the dinky dyes that it calls for. That being said, I have no problem taking a piece if it's charted for DMC and switching it up for a different floss like Mo's sale. Like the Once Upon a Time sampler I did last year, the Storytime sampler now, the Zodiac sampler now. All of those actually have a couple of specialty flosses in it, either Weeks Dye Works or Gast, and I've substituted those for equivalent alternatives that I like in Mo's sale, but that's because I do the whole thing switching it up. I also, if a piece calls for beads, I will use the beads over changing it to French knots. If it calls for French knots, I'll take a look and see if I want to use the French knots or if I want to change it over into beads. I guess that's all I'm kind of really nitpicky about. I don't have an issue starting and stopping I don't have an issue changing certain things up, if like color schemes, and picking my own fabric if I want to. Peach face. I think that'll be the answer. Let's see. Favorite LNS you visited while on the trip? If you've been to one. I've been to some. I love my LNS here. But of the ones, the two that I have gone to out of state, Silver Needle in Tulsa, Oklahoma, phenomenal. I mean, I walked in and it was like a kid walking into Santa's workshop and seeing all the toys the elves are working on. Just stuff everywhere. It was a cross-stitcher's paradise. I love the stitching shop that I saw in Denver. And I talked about that in one of my previous videos, the setup with the ease of looking up the patterns, but really, Silver Needle, wow, it was awesome. Is there anything you feel takes up a lot of time when you cross stitch but is worth it in the end? Backstitching. Oh God, backstitch. Funny thing is, I like the black work that I have done, but I'm not a huge fan of backstitching. And I know several people who like backstitching but hate black work, and that's just kind of funny if you ask me. I'm trying, and I'm slowly getting better at doing backstitching as I go along. I have always been one in the past that did all of my backstitching at the end of a project. And that's because I've explained before, if there's, you know, 4 squares right next to each other and you need to have backstitching on 3 of them, I want all 4 squares done, so when I come back and do that 4th square, it doesn't screw up the backstitching on that 3rd one. So that sometimes means that I can't do all the backstitching I may want to do in a piece at a time, depending on where I go in the project, and how I work it. But if I leave the backstitching to the end, it becomes monotonous, it becomes tedious, and it's like, I have finished everything else, when is this gonna end? But backstitching, unless you're doing a full coverage piece like a Haid, backstitching is vital for making a piece pop and bringing out everything that needs to be brought out in that piece. So, backstitching. And that is it. So that was the fun little tag. Yay! Thanks, Carolina. That was a lot of fun and has made this video a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. But that's okay. You know me and long videos. So I will be back tomorrow at some point. I have a baby shower that I am going to tomorrow. That's kind of far away from my house and it's kind of early-ish in the day. So I'm going to try to get my video done early so that when I get home I can work on stitching and not worry about video. But if it doesn't come until later, that's why. If for whatever reason I can't get it done before I go to the baby shower, I'll get it done when I get home, I promise. So I hope everyone's had a great stitching week. Have a great stitching day, since it's only going to be a day before I see you again. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!